from KiraVilliansFitness.com, and this is the first podcast that I have recorded in probably close to a year. So I'm a little rusty, but I'm excited to be back. I took a hiatus because I was in school through the Nutritional Therapy Association, their nutritional therapy program. So I am officially a nutritional therapy practitioner. Yay. And this is something that I felt compelled to do because I've been a personal trainer since 2010. It's 2025 now, so 15 years. I've done the precision nutrition level 1 course. I've taken college courses on human anatomy and human biology and human nutrition. And I just felt like this was going in the direction of truly being able to help my clients heal their bodies, because I've been a fat loss coach for 15 years now. And I know a ton about nutrition, but I really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of the systems of our body and how we can bring everything together, because I'm starting to have more and more clients who can't just, track macros and hit the gym 5 days a week and they change their body composition. I'm starting to run into clients with hormonal issues, blood sugar regulation issues, thyroid issues, nervous system issues. And I wanted to be able to help with those problems, because all of those things are going to keep you from living the best life and reaching the goals that you want to achieve. So that is why I decided to take it to the next level and become a nutritional therapy practitioner. Super stoked. I do feel like it was a lot of information that I already knew and understood, but I understand it on a deeper level now. And I'm excited to now start working with clients on this stuff. So if you go to my website, KiraVilliansFitness.com/sign up, you will see my different levels of working together. More of those top tiered levels are going to be the nutritional therapy stuff. We're going to go into really deep into your body, your habits, and take a good look at what's going on inside. We can go into your mineral status with hair tissue and mineral analysis. But we're going to really look into what systems of your body are not functioning the way that they need to and work on those. And so with that said, these are the 5 foundations that I utilize to work with my clients. So the first one is digestion, because if you are not digesting your food properly, then you are not absorbing all of the nutrients that are in your food. So we've got north to south process. Digestion literally starts when you see food, or when you're sitting at the restaurant and you're like waiting for the waiter to come out and you're like, oh, that's mine. That's literally that's the start of your digestive process. The smell. If you like bake something and you can start smelling it, or you've got like the garlic and the olive oil going in the pan and it starts to become fragrant. That is the first step of digestion. Goes into our mouth. We start creating enzymes to break down the food. It goes into through our esophagus, and then into the stomach, into the small intestine, large intestine, colon, excrement. That's a super simplified version. But if things aren't working properly in your digestive system, so let's say you don't have a gallbladder, you're not going to be breaking down your fat properly. And if you're not creating bile or not creating an adequate amount of bile, then you're not going to be breaking things down properly. And good chance that you're going to have either diarrhea or constipation. And that's going to turn into a whole host of other issues. You know, you've got diarrhea, they're coming out just as fast as they went in. You don't have time. It's not spending that time in the small intestine to break down so that your body can absorb the nutrients. If you've got diarrhea, you've got stuff fermenting in your gut that doesn't need to be there and potentially create small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That's going to cause a host of other issues. So working on digestion is a big player. So what else? Gallbladder. We've also, if we're not creating, we've got leaky gut. Stuff's going out that doesn't need to go out. Stuff's coming in that doesn't need to go in. Our gut lining should look nice and tight, but if we got a whole bunch of inflammation, now we're like this, and now we've got these holes that don't need to be there. Oh my goodness. So I'm like suddenly drawing a blank. Yeah, digestion. And you know, like I said, like if you're constipated, that's going to create a whole host of other issues. You're not going to be able to get rid of the used up hormones. You can potentially take like estrogen that you would typically excrete out, like it's literally like waste. If that's getting recycled through your body, then you're going to potentially have estrogen dominance. That's going to make it impossible to lose fat. It can create a whole bunch of other issues with our hormones, our reproductive hormones. You could have, you know, headaches in the afternoons from having high estrogen. Too much estrogen in the body can also potentially lead to cancer. It's going to create a lot of problems. So we want to get rid of the toxins that our body doesn't need anymore. Having a regular bowel movement every day is what we should be aiming for. And I work with my clients to help them get there. We have lots of tricks, and whether it's coming into parasympathetic mode before we eat, to making sure that we get fermented foods in our diet, to ensuring that we get enough fiber. Whatever it takes to get my clients pooping every day, a good, you know, solid poop every day is what we're aiming for. And then it has a trickle down effect. Like I said, it's going to impact, it can impact your skin, literally. Like, if you have if you have stuff fermenting in your small intestine that's not supposed to be there, that can lead to acne. So an eczema. Oh yeah, I should know that one. I've struggled with that off and on my whole life. When my gut's not in a good place, I have histamine intolerance. So I can literally, like, my eyes, it'll look like I'm a person who's allergic to shellfish if I'm around Frank, because I'm allergic to my dog. And so if my gut is not in a good place and I'm experiencing leaky gut, I will literally have, like, my eyelids will swell up from being around Frank, because it impacts our allergies, our histamine levels. And if we have low histamine tolerance, like I do, then you're going to deal with a lot more allergies. So we can even literally work on that through digestion. It's really cool. Okay, we spent enough time on digestion. Let's talk about blood sugar regulation. Blood sugar regulation, that's a big one that I work on with my clients. So if we eat food, whether it's like, this happens a lot if you eat just like naked carbs, but if you eat a lot of food, maybe this happens. Or if you eat your food really fast, this happens. Or you've got a lot of stress in your body, this happens. Your blood sugar spikes. And then what happens, as long as you have a pancreas and you're a working pancreas, then your body creates insulin and it takes it and it shuttles it where it needs to go, which is fantastic. That's what it should do. But when insulin is present, you can't lose fat because insulin is a storage hormone. So my clients who are here to lose body fat, we work on not creating these peaks and valleys. Not only when you have the peaks and valleys, when it drops down like that, you get really tired, you have fatigue, you've got low energy, you become cranky. It can cause anxiety. It's just another form of stress in the body, which is going to be the next thing I talk about. But we want to eat in a way that it does elevate our blood sugar, but it doesn't create these peaks and valleys, because you're just going to feel better. Not only that, but when we've got insulin constantly shuttling, not saying that we shouldn't eat carbs, it's just eating them in a balanced way. When we've got that insulin shuttling the blood sugar constantly, it's getting stored by we've got fat cells, muscle cells, and liver cells that will all take that blood sugar. But constantly pumping the liver full of that sugar can be hard on the liver. So we also want to support the liver. And then, oh my goodness. Okay, I forgot what the acronym stands for, but it's AGES. I forgot. Okay, so when we've got this constantly elevated blood sugar, basically through this thing called AGES, and now, but like literally Google it because I just forgot. Glycation end product basically is what it is. So glucose glycation, it can literally create plaque in our arteries and lead to heart disease and high blood pressure. Blood sugar literally has to do with that, because all of our systems are created, you guys. And so we want to not have those big old peaks for that reason too. It also creates oxidative stress in the body, and that makes us age faster. It causes wrinkles. So we don't want oxidative stress. And that leads me to stress. So working with my clients on stress, and I'm not just talking about like mental and emotional stress. I mean, yes, we absolutely need to address that, because if you are saddled with debilitating stress, then you're not going to have bandwidth. So you're not going to be meal prepping. You're not going to be getting into the gym. You're not going to be working with me if you don't have bandwidth. So working on that, creating boundaries and good coping mechanisms to help you with your mental and emotional stress, but also working on decreasing your physical stress. If we are chronically stressed out, then we are chronically asking a lot of our body in terms of cortisol and adrenaline. And when cortisol is good, cortisol will help us lose body fat. Cortisol helps us wake up in the mornings, but when cortisol is chronically present, so it's supposed to be like this: cortisol is high in the mornings, and that's what would wake us up if we didn't have an alarm clock. And then slowly as the day goes by, it lowers, but what's coming up is melatonin. And so then that way at night, we've got cortisol way down and melatonin way up, and we get sleepy. But you've heard of that wired and tired feeling. So your cortisol never really comes down, and therefore your melatonin production never really comes up. And then you end up taking melatonin, and it's this whole cycle that we want to get away from. We want to allow our cortisol to ebb and flow the way that it should, so that way our melatonin can ebb and flow the way that it should. And so having less stress in our lives, be it mental or physical, is something big that we aim for. So there are certain things that are out of your control when it comes to stress. You're making enough money to pay your mortgage and all of your bills, and all of a sudden you have to go to the hospital. That's going to be stressful, and you can't do anything to control that. But you can do things like manage your blood sugar properly, eat protein, fat, and fiber along with your carbohydrates so you don't get a big spike in your blood sugar. That's going to create less physical stress on your body. Not constantly going into the gym and pounding away on a treadmill every day is going to back the stress off in your body, and that's something that is within your control. So working on stress, like within the things that are within your control, because there are a lot of things that you can do. And then also there are, herbal supplements that you can take, like ashwagandha, that kind of help calm your nervous system during times of heightened stress. Working on taking magnesium, different kinds of magnesium have different purposes. Working on that to combat physical stress, because when you're also stressed out, your body blows through minerals really fast. And so you need to be replacing those minerals. Big four being calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium. So taking your electrolytes, taking extra magnesium, potentially supporting your body with more calcium rich food, because if you're blowing through minerals, then that potentially means that you're leaching minerals from your bones. Seriously, osteoporosis, it's all connected. I've talked a lot about stress. Let's go into sleep. Again, sleep is one of those things where if you've got a couple little kids, that's out of your control. You're in a phase of your life right now that you are going to get woken up by your kids, but there are certain things that you can put into place that will help your sleep patterns, by going to bed on a regular basis, getting off your screens, or using blue blockers that sets, or blackout curtains. Those things set you up for success when it comes to sleep, and those are within your control. But if you are someone who just likes to stay up and scroll, working on your sleep and making sure that you get adequate sleep is going to have a massive effect on every other system of your body. It's going to help your immune system. When you are, the first couple hours of your sleep is when you get your deepest sleep. That's when growth hormone is created in your body, and that's going to impact every single cell in your body. It helps those cells regenerate. It helps keep you healthy. Getting an adequate amount of sleep gives you more mental bandwidth so that you can take on these things. Getting an adequate amount of sleep will help you with maintain blood sugar levels. That was one of the biggest things when I wore a CGM. If I didn't get adequate sleep, my blood sugar was all over the place the next day. And then guess what? When your blood sugar's all over the place, you're getting peaks and drops, you're going to have more cravings. You're going to want more sugar. Not only that, but it's impacting your hormones, leptin and ghrelin. These are hunger hormones. They're going to be all kinds of out of whack. You're going to have cravings through the roof. You're going to be hungrier than usual when you don't get an adequate amount of sleep, or you don't get good quality sleep. This literally impacts everything. It impacts your digestion, because lack of sleep is stress. Stress creates the leakage in your gut. So now, not only are you going to be you're craving more sugar, you're craving more food in general. Now you're not breaking it down properly, and you're not absorbing the nutrients that you would get from the good things that you do eat. So now you're going to have less energy. You're going to be more prone to getting sick. You're not going to be pooping the way that you should. Now your hormones are out of whack. It's all connected. And then the last piece is nutrition and training, because this is the foundation on which I've built my whole business, nutrition and training. So what do we do to help fix our digestion, to work on our blood sugar, to help with our stress, to potentially even help how we sleep? It's nutrition. So I work on all of these different systems in our body, but my main approach is through the food that we eat. Yeah, some supplements, some habits and lifestyle choices for sure, but nutrition is the big one. And then I threw training in there, because when we train, we work on strength training, so that way we build muscle. Guess what that does? When we have an adequate amount of muscle, we've got a place for the insulin to take the sugar, to be stored. So it's not just going into the liver. It can hang out in our muscle cells. When we train, we elevate our cortisol levels in the appropriate way, so we can have fat loss. This keeps our metabolism up. So we've got a bunch of muscle. So we've got a faster metabolism. This is going to help us poop regularly. That is in turn going to help balance our hormones. So all of this stuff, like I just can't stress it enough. All of this stuff is created or is, it's all like, oh my gosh, I just lost the word. All this stuff is connected. And I work through, those are my 5 things that I work on with my clients to help them feel better, look better. I can literally help clients with, like I said, skin issues, having more energy, their thyroid, hormone balance. That's a big one right now with so many. I'm 44 and I have so many friends and clients that they're starting perimenopause, and that doesn't feel good and it potentially doesn't look good. So what do? We utilize nutrition, training, some supplements, lifestyle choices to help ourselves feel our best through these changes. So anyway, thank you for bearing with me in my first podcast back in like a year. And I have gonna put everything in the show notes, but I'm also gonna put my contact information in the show notes, as well as the link to work with me in there. And please, if you've got stuff going on, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if I can help you. So yeah, I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner now, and a personal trainer, and a nutrition coach. What's next? Let's see. We'll find out. All right. Thanks for watching.